everyone, Nicholas Lee here, and welcome to section 1 of the anti-script closing system training. So in this training, I'm going to share with you what I've learned over 8 years of selling, 8 years of having thousands and thousands of calls, and why scripts will always fail. Okay, I'm going to share with you my anti-script philosophy so you can understand what we're doing here, and hopefully that will open your mind as to what's going wrong and what you can do better. And throughout this training, I will not only share with you what you can do better, but I will give you the right steps, and more importantly, in my opinion, is understanding the principles of why I share and why I do what I do to close more deals, better deals, but more importantly, to feel calm, to feel confident, to feel excited every time you have a sales conversation to do, because every sales conversation is meant to bring value, whether it's to you, to your people, and more people will benefit from it. That's why I feel it's so important for you to understand that. By the way, if you haven't done it yet, please go and look at the Duty to Sell challenge. Go and do the 30 days. Feel free to do both this training and the Duty to Sell training challenge training at the same time. It's not an issue. I would say you want to keep doing the Duty to Sell challenge every few months, because again, you will see a new perspective every time and a new understanding of it. All right. So let's dive into why scripts always fail. Cool. So the first one, and it's something that I'd never understood until I kind of looked at my 10th or 20th scripts that I was trying to learn, trying to study. And some of you may have already seen it, right? A mentor, a guru, even an owner of an offer that you're closing on, or your own offer, right? You may have bought some kind of cheap scripts online. It tells you what questions to ask, right? In my own story, when I started this journey, people told me, go and ask those questions to find out the pain, and then go and ask those questions to find out the gain. And I was like, okay, what's next? They were like, well, then you close. Didn't happen like this. It was really hard, and I struggled massively, right? Then I went into a new level where they were like, okay, go and use this agenda, right? I'm sure if I were to ask people here, type a 1 in the chat if you've heard the agenda, which says, oh, nice to meet you guys. Nice to meet you, Mr. James, right? The purpose of this call right now is for me to get clarity about your situation. And at the end of the call, I want you to make a decision, right? Don't tell me it's a no. Don't either tell me it's a yes or it's a no. Do not tell me it's a maybe, right? I'm pretty sure some of you may have heard of this. And I can promise you this also doesn't work. It may work for some, but I felt really cringy when I was using it, and very quickly I stopped using it, right? Now, the main reason scripts are failing you is because they were not created by you. Now, what do I mean by that? I have been in situations where in a script, so as a background, guys, I am from Mauritius. And if you're from the US, you will have never heard of us. Maybe recently you would have heard of us from Diego Garza and stuff like that. But I'm from a very small island in the Indian Ocean, right? And therefore, my culture, the language that I use, is very different to the American language, or even to the British language, which now I live in, and I've been here for 18 years. I still don't always understand some of the British jokes, right? Or some of the British language. So when people were giving me lines that was really Americanized or British, or was really down to who created it, which usually is the sales guy, or the sales trainer, or the offer creator, or the sales manager, right? It didn't work with me. And I always felt weird using those lines. And therefore, it made me think twice. And here's the crazy part, guys. When you work with humans, a lot of the unconscious behaviors, a lot of the hesitation you get, do not need to be out there in the open. they are very subtle. Like a pause you take, like you looking up, trying to get the ideas, or you reading a freaking script. Like literally, I had a sales course where I was looking to buy something, and I'm a great buyer, guys, by the way. I just buy everything. This guy was on this call with me, and I could see him reading the script in front of me. And worse, I challenged him on it because I knew what he was doing. He kept on going through the script throughout the call, like I didn't exist. Which is actually another reason why script fails. You dehumanize the person on the other side, right? And this is where I don't like the way people teach it. They're like, yeah, just keep going through as many sales calls as you can until it gets better. But the problem is, if you're learning the wrong technique from the start, you're just getting better at the wrong technique. And some of you may have that issue right now. But that's okay, guys. Because again, go to my Duty to Sell challenge, do everything in there. You will understand how to unlearn the bad habits you've learned and how to install the new, better habits to master this skill that we're learning today, right? But the main thing is the scripts that you have, the lines that's written, the words that's written, the questions that you're being asked to ask were not created by you. So you don't really understand why they are there. So sometimes you feel cringy. Sometimes you don't even know why it's there. You just ask and then you just move forward, whether they give you a good answer or a wrong answer, and you just don't understand why it doesn't close, right? Because it doesn't feel right. Okay. So that's one of the first reasons. It wasn't created by you. Next reason, the script may have been built for a different purpose. Like for me, it's crazy. I've seen so many scripts being passed around like it's gospel, like it's the Bible. But here's the thing, guys. Wherever you're selling, or whatever you're selling, whether it's a product, it's a service, whether you're selling solar, whether you're selling a software, whether you're selling any types of service or products, your prospect on the call is going to be different. If you're in a different industry, it's even worse, because the language people have given to you in the script may not align with your audience. Right? Now imagine, right, you're trying to close, let's say, a dentist, right, into some kind of marketing lead generation, and you're going in detail about marketing. The dentist has no idea what marketing is about. The dentist just want to get leads. So you speaking the wrong language, because your script says to say those words, will affect your closing rate, will make you not sound human to him, and that's where you're losing deals, right? But we're going to go in more detail about all of those, but just to give you that perspective, the scripts you may have bought, you may have got online, maybe for a different purpose. And if you don't understand that, that's where potentially you are losing deals, you are leaving money on the table, or you're feeling really, really weird and cringy when you're trying to sell. And unfortunately, the more you do it, the more you build that belief that you cannot sell, the more you believe the fact that, selling is a really hard thing to do. When in reality, if you understand what selling is about, what the structure of selling is, and how do you make it a very simple conversation where the person feels that they trust you, you will get better results and you will feel great about it. And by the way, most importantly, you will be able to use it with people around you, not even for selling products and services, for selling your ideas, right? For selling to your children that they need to go to bed early, to selling to your children that they want to eat vegetables, right? But let them make that decision through the method I'm going to share with you. So hopefully that would make sense to you, but don't worry, we're going to go there, right? Now the third thing, I may have shared that already, but a script is very rigid. I have been in so many sales conversations myself with my script where I would have asked a question, and because I did not understand what the question is meant to do, the person gives me an answer and I'm back out to another question. Or my coaches, my sales trainers would have told me, go and dig. Ask them about the problem. Oh, what's your problem, sir? They give me a word. I don't know what they're talking about because it's not congruent and it's not been a flowy conversation. And because they don't trust me to give me a better answer, I'm digging. It's like I'm digging not in the dirt, but I'm digging on cement, and it's taking me forever. And he's not even trying to help me go down, dig, right? But the method I'm going to share with you guys is going to make the digging, and I don't like the word digging, by the way. I like the word understanding, all right? Because I want to understand him, he will want to make me understand and help me understand faster. And this is how I have closed deals online with strangers I had never met before. They don't know me. I'm not even the owner of the offer or the product or the service, so there's no reason for him to trust me. But I've had people pay me tens of thousands of dollars within a 20-minute call on Zoom, giving me their credit card details to move forward. Now, guys, very important. Everything I'm sharing with you here, only use it for the good cause. Only use it if you've got a really good product and a service to share. Please do not use those skills if you're a scammer, if you're going to steal people's money, because this is going to be really, really horrible. And hopefully, with my marketing and the way I pass on my message, if you're a scammer, you won't even be here. If you're here, I will find you and I will kick you out. Anyway, so scripts being rigid is what stops you from closing deals as well. Because if you're following a script and someone gives you a piece of information which is valuable at the end of the call, but you get passed by it or you leave it around and you keep moving through the script, you will not close deals. However, with a structure, with phases in how I'm going to share with you, you can always come back. And some people call it looping, but you go back and you clarify bits and bobs so that it helps you with the close. You should never be rigid, because here's the thing, guys. You are speaking to humans. Humans are not rigid. Humans are all over the place all the time, right? The method I'm going to share with you is going to allow you to keep the conversation very flowy, but has a process, has a structure to take you from A to B in as quickly as possible, but also will allow the prospect to make the decisions by themselves. And this is how I've been able to keep my refund rates at less than 1%, I think even less than that, maybe a handful, after closing 300s and more of deals, right? So hopefully you can get there too by doing the work, studying it, practicing it, asking questions, right? The fourth thing, which is something that I can share because I was there, I was learning all of those questions. I had absolutely no idea why I was asking those questions, what they were doing for me, what they were doing for the prospects. And therefore I would ask a question, like I said earlier, and I would not get the answer that I should be getting, but I would be moving on to the next phase and the next phase because I did not understand the script. Okay. Now what I'm saying today here, guys, I'm not saying get rid of your whole script, because if you've used it and you've got some results, keep using it and go through this training, but start at the first layer. Understand why you're asking the question, why the script is working, right? Because my personal belief is school taught us to not be critical thinkers. We've been taught to be like sheep. Go and study by heart, cram some information and go to exams and just vomit it. And if you actually think critically, right, which was my case, I tried to be critical and fall a bit outside of the box in some of my exams, I got 50 out of 100. So if that was me, I can only guess that 99% of the people have been trained to just follow what happens. What I want you to do, guys, and I hope you agree with me, is that you challenge every part of your script and go back and ask your sales trainer, why did you put this word here? Why did you put this question here? What are we trying to achieve with ABCD part, so that you get it? If they won't tell you the answer, guys, most likely they don't know themselves. But in this training, I'm going to share with you every step of the way, how I've built the phases, how I've built the dominoes in the anti-script closing system, and what each of those dominoes are meant to do, right? The goals they're meant to achieve, and how it allows you to close deals faster. Now, you may hear 15 dominoes and you may get scared that it's a lot, but it actually reduces the amount of work you have to do, because each dominoes is linked to each other. And that's why I also call it the domino closing sequence, because it allows you from taking a very small domino, topple the next one and the next one and the next one. By the end of the 15th domino, you could close a whole building with it. And that's the idea. Starting small, making it linked one to each other, so that you could close a massive deal at the end. Okay, and I've used it in my real life. I've shared it with my clients, and like I said, some of my one-on-ones, I mean, to be fair, all of them got really good results. 20 times, 50 times of the investment they've paid me. And one has closed 100K, actually in different deals. Another one has closed 500K. And another one, he's closed his biggest deal online. Plus, he said to me, he's learned more from me in 4 months than he did in 10 years. So again, guys, if you do want to be involved and want to work one-on-one with me, find the link in the school. Let me go quickly and I'll show you again in case you forgot. By the way, this is how I teach. I will keep on drilling things again and again to you from different angles, from different perspective, because I know if I teach it to you from different angles and perspective, things will make more sense and it will become second nature. That's how I teach, that's how I learn. And this is what my mom taught me in a way, without knowing it, by drilling things into your brain until it makes sense. Okay, and that's why, again, I'm going to drill it, go back and do the duty to sell challenge. Let me show you again what it is. By the way, don't mind the mess in my classroom. I'm still building things. But if you look at the duty to sell challenge, you will find it. I will change the graphic at some point. But go and do this training, please. 30 days. Do it once, come back in 3 months times, 4 months times, do it again. Plus, in addition to the anti-script closing system, you will be in a different place. And I have 3 more trainings coming on the way. Make sure you take advantage of them. Come back to the community, because today's training is over. You go and post anything you've learned, right? I call it the ahas. So you could say, today I did section 1 training on the anti-script closing system. And my ahas were ABCD. Now, the reason I want you to document your ahas, it's not just for you, right? But more importantly, it is for you, because if you can share what you've learned and explain why you've learned it and it's important to you, you will understand it better. Okay? If there is something critical you've learned and you've applied and it's worked, also come in and share it, right? But the key thing is this. I want you to choose a category, because when you go ahas, or whether, let's say you've done a win and you've closed a deal from the things I've shared with you, come and click it as a win. Because when you go to community, you can have all of the general posts and comments, like Alexandra has done some, we've got Luke, we've got Aeon. If you go ahas, right, you can now read Alexandra's ahas, you can read Aeon's ahas, right? And therefore you can see what they are learning, and you can learn as much, because everyone's got a different experience, a different way of looking at life. So you may learn something new through the same training, but from their perspective. If you've got some wins, come and share it as well, right? See, guys are sharing their wins. Do the same, because again, sometimes this world in sales is tough. You will go days where nothing works. You're speaking to so many people, no one wants to buy, and you may feel down. Come here and read the wins. You will feel great again. Okay? If you want help, come here and ask any questions. Those ones you will think they will make more sense when you go through the duty to sell challenge. Okay, and here I will put all of the Q&A replays that I'm doing. So anytime we've got live replays, like I said, they're going to be live on Thursdays most days, but if they're changed, you're going to see here. So come and look at the calendar, see which one, and you click on it, you will get the link to access the training when it's running. Okay. Another key one, guys, like I said to you, all of the training I have in my here, especially the first 4 I shared, are going to be free for you. I want you to be able to build this foundation in sales. So that means there'll be 5 free training for you, but you will only access them as you get involved, right? So the duty to sell challenge will be free for everyone. Most likely the anti-script closing system will be free. But if you want to access the next one, which is around the emotions, I will teach you about storytelling. I will teach you about how to create frameworks. I will teach you how to sell one-to-many. Those will be either paid if you want to get access quickly, or if, like you see Alexandra and Ian doing and Luke doing, the more you get involved, every time you put a post, every time you write a comment, every time you like other people's posts and comments, you get points on the leaderboard. Okay, and as you go up, you will see you will unlock all of those training. So this is why I suggest you do that, right? Very soon, on a weekly, on a monthly basis, I might also be rewarding people with like free trainings or even cash. We'll see how it goes. But this is how you can unlock those trainings for free, or you can pay for them as well. Some will be paid, like you can join the premium level or the VIP level. Things will make more sense as we go along. All right. So that's it from me, guys. Hopefully that was helpful to understand why the scripts have failed you before. And if you've learned anything, guys, or value, any ahas that you're going to work in today on your script. And by the way, if you've got scripts that you don't know why it's not working, post them in the group, ask me questions. I'll be happy to help you solve any key things that hopefully today will get you the next sale, or tomorrow, or the next week, right? I love getting people results as quickly as possible so that any money you pay me, guys, will get you 10 times or more the value back. That's my biggest goal, and let's help you do that. All right, so that's it from me, guys. Great speaking to you. Do give me feedback. Let me know if there's any things you would want to learn more about this part and if I'm missing anything. All right, speak to you later.